What's up guys, welcome back to the Noosa 245 series. Now you may have noticed that I've made a pretty big switch from a well-respected brand in the industry to one of its rivals. A brand that is a little bit less heard of here in Australia, but it has a cult-like following that is growing every single day. The brand I'm talking about is COROS, of course. COROS, of course. You guys get the idea. Now, you may have seen this watch on the likes of Eliud Kipchoge, the most decorated marathon runner of all time, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the Norwegian middle distance badass who has world records over the 1500 meter, 2000 and the 2 miles. So the way I see it, if it's good enough for them, then it's definitely good enough for me to ditch the old Garmin and give them a go. I'm making this video because I'm actually pretty happy with my choice. And I want to show you guys how I've been using the COROS Pace 3 to prepare for the Noosa Marathon, and how it's turned out to be the best training partner that I could ask for. So the Pace 3 gives you a hell of a lot of data that you probably don't need, and to be honest, a lot of data that I don't even really care about, but there is a lot of analytics and data that I have found super useful for my marathon training and for my recovery as well. So basically there's lots of data that I think is super helpful and has been super important, and then there's a lot of data that isn't really that useful for me personally, and I haven't found it to be that helpful. So firstly, I've been partnering the watch with a few accessories that have really just enhanced my experience of using it. So firstly, I've been using the shoe pod, and I've been using the arm strap heart rate monitor. So with the heart rate monitor, usually you just chuck it over your arm and you put it on your bicep. But I find that, I don't know if it's because I'm a bigger build or maybe just the way that I run, I actually end up getting chafe pretty bad on my lats from wearing it like this. So I've opted to just wear it on my forearm, and I found zero issues with that. And I found it's actually really quite comfortable. Probably more comfortable I found than wearing the other typical sort of chest straps. And you don't have to worry about getting that nasty tan. I just try to adjust sort of a little bit where it is on my arm with most of my runs, so that it's never really sitting in that same spot and I'm not getting that nasty tan line. So this gives me faster and more accurate heart rate data that goes straight to my watch, and I found that it's been really helpful for short, sharp changes in intensity, where knowing my heart rate and sort of dialing in a pace, it really comes in handy in that sense. Also, using the shoe pod, which just literally slips onto the front of the laces, this will give you a faster and more accurate pace data that goes straight to your watch, similar to the heart rate, but more of a pace conversion. This has been really helpful for dialing in a pace to an effort. When I'm changing the shifts in intensity or going through intervals, it's just really handy having the pace data change within 1 or 2 seconds, rather than what happens with some other watches, or without having the shoe pod, it will just adjust. It'll take like 4 to 5 to even 6 seconds to adjust. So it's just really nice, especially when I have like a 30-second effort, knowing what pace I'm going as soon as I am going it. So I found that partnering these two together with the COROS Pace 3 has just been really, really helpful, and just making sure that my analytics and my data is just nice and fast and clean for my workouts. Super helpful for dialing in that marathon pace to a T. So my favorite thing about the watch is just how easy it is to program workouts. You can do it straight from your watch, or you can do what I do, which is much easier, and you can just go into the COROS app and you can create a workout. It only takes less than a couple minutes to set up. You do it just before you need to run, and then you're off, and it will run you through an entire interval session. I use it for every single one of my workouts. I use it for my long runs when I add marathon effort or any sort of session added into that long run. It's honestly a godsend, and I love it. You can program goal paces for intervals. You can program goal heart rate for intervals, goal intensities. There's so many different things that you can actually add to your session to bring value and really dial in the different data that you're looking to focus on for the workout. The possibilities are truly endless with the workouts, and like I said before, they're super easy to program, and this has just been one of the greatest features and probably my favorite thing about the watch. This video is probably just gonna sound like the world's biggest ad, but I think that a video like this really brings merit to YouTube, because a lot of the time it is more of a look how great this watch is, but they don't really talk about the downsides. So I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can and just genuinely tell you what I've liked about the watch and a couple of things that I haven't really liked about the watch. So yeah, hopefully this comes across as genuine and doesn't just come across as a COROS ad. One thing that has really let me down about the watch, and I think honestly it would be such an easy fix and such a game changer if they actually implemented this. I like to wear my watch to bed, of course, because I'm tracking my sleep and I want to see my HRV data and all the rest. When I get up in the morning, most of the time I'm getting up before my girlfriend, and I would use my watch as an alarm. So what was really great about the Garmin is you could set the alarm, it would wake you up, but you could set it to vibrate. So this is just purely to respect my girlfriend, so she doesn't have to wake up with my alarm. And it was just a nicer way to wake up, a little vibration on the wrist, and happy days, you're awake. But with the Pace 3, you don't have the option to make it vibrate. There's only just like loud beeping, which is horrible to wake up to. And it just takes away the actual point of me using the wrist watch to wake up as the alarm. Now I just set my iPhone and it wakes me up, and it's kind of jarring to wake up to. So that's one thing I think that COROS could really benefit from, just adding that little feature. But yeah, that was like one of my things that I really loved about my last watch, and I'm a bit sad that I can't do that this time around. Another feature that I've been really loving about the Pace 3 is the sleep tracking. In the past, I haven't really had a super consistent sleep schedule, but now that I've moved to the Gold Coast and I've sort of changing jobs and moving more towards content, and I've been working less in the morning, I've been able to go to bed and wake up at the same time pretty much every single day. So this has allowed for a more consistent sleep schedule, and I've really been able to see the benefits and actually see how I've been sleeping. So it'll give you some really cool data. It'll tell you how much you've been in REM, how much you've been in deep sleep, and how much you've been in light sleep, and how many minutes you have been awake throughout the night. So now that I'm in a better sleep routine, I can actually get some solid data, and I can actually sort of see how a bad night's sleep has affected my training or my recovery the next day. Again, it's kind of like those 1% of things, but if sleep is something that you're struggling with and you're implementing a few different protocols, then you can actually track your sleeping on here, and you can see if those protocols are actually affecting your sleep in a good way or a bad way, just by simply wearing your watch to bed. So I find that super helpful, especially because recovery is such a big part of marathon training. Another cool feature here is the running fitness. So what it says for me currently on my running fitness, so it says I'm a 95.1. The dial is almost near the top, which makes me think, I'm not sure what the ceiling is for the Pace 3, but I'm definitely not at the ceiling for sure, but it gives you a little race predictor. So you take this with a grain of salt. What it does is it basically just works out from the data that it gets from all of your different runs and running at threshold and your heart rate data, and it sort of formulates how fit that it thinks you are for different race distances. This can be really great. It can be very inaccurate, but I found in my case, after it's gathered a fair bit of data, it actually has become quite accurate for me anyway. So it'll give you a 5K, 10K, half marathon and marathon PB race predictor. So for the 5K, it says 17:22. So this is about 50 seconds off my 5K, so not super accurate in that sense. 10K, it says 35:46. I'm probably about, again, that 50 seconds off that, faster for my PB. Then half marathon, 1:18:36. This is almost bang on my half marathon PB. And then for the marathon, it says 2 hours, 43:57. So this is pretty much bang on what I'm trying to go for the Noosa Marathon. So I'm praying that this is correct. This is the truth. because otherwise that's a good show of fitness. And yeah, I hope that this is correct, because that would be very, very great for me. So another thing that has been a bit of a godsend for me using the Pace 3 is you can add Spotify mixes onto the watch. Now it's a bit old school. You have to literally plug in the watch into your laptop. You got to download an MP3 and then drag and drop the MP3 file onto the watch. But once you figure that out, it's actually quite easy. And you can download any mix off SoundCloud. You just go into a SoundCloud to download it to MP3 website. Try not to give yourself a virus, and you just drag and drop onto your watch, and it's awesome. So one thing about the Garmin that wasn't ideal was you couldn't add anything other than what was on Spotify. So this completely left out the ability to add SoundCloud mixes. SoundCloud is easily the best place to find music that can get you pumped up. It's got R&B, it's got everything that you need. I mean, a downside is you can't just add Spotify to the watch. So that completely excludes podcasts. Now, podcasts are a massive part of my easy running. So one downside to the Pace 3 that I didn't know about when getting it was you can't add Spotify, so that means you can't add podcasts. So unfortunately for easy runs when I'm running by myself, I have to carry my phone with me. It's not the end of the world, but one of the really great things about having a sports watch that you can add music to is just being able to run without your phone. So that's the biggest and probably one of the only downsides that I have about the Pace 3. So comparing it to my old Garmin 745 Forerunner, battery life, it's non-comparable. So with my Garmin, I was charging it every single day, and I was lucky to make it 2 days if I didn't listen to music on it, and barely used it for logging activities. The Pace 3 will last me easily upwards of a week plus, and it lasts so long that sometimes it's very, very close to going dead just because I purely forget that I need to charge it. That's how little I have to charge it. So massive plus for the battery life. I think the Pace 3 is a really great entry-level watch just because it's not gonna cost you an arm and a leg to buy it. Some of the other watches on the market are almost double the price for very similar features. Like they all have the same GPS. They are very much the same in a lot of ways, but the COROS 3 is just such a respectable price and just really great, like a really great entry-level option, I think. But it also caters for the not so entry-level runners. With it being really reliable with super fast and accurate data, you can program workouts and you can add some drum and bass. I mean, what more could you actually ask for out of a watch? So in conclusion, I'm a bit of a COROS boy now, and the Pace 3 has been with me for the deep end of this Noosa Marathon prep, and we've actually bonded quite a fair bit, so he's here to stay. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking shit about my watch, and I hope that this video helps you when it comes to you selecting a new watch in the future when your Garmin dies, and trust me, it will die. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the series so you don't miss any of my future Noosa 245 episodes. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.